BSSC where he did some outstanding work, mostly in the long variety projects and his contributions.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to stand in front of the aerospace engineers. And yesterday, I would have been much better, or I would have been much happier if I would have delivered this speech yesterday. Because I know my colleagues of PSSC, most of them were here. And it was also not a bad day. Having heard the concerns of the education, real concerns of the education related to the aerospace industry in India, having heard the plane boundaries happening in 0G, it's a good time to talk a little bit about business. What business we can do with the aerospace capabilities we have developed over a period of 30 to 40 years in India. So I will start with inviting you all to look into the topic outsourcing. You know, the outsourcing is the theme of the day, the talk of the town and everywhere. All youngsters are looking into the outsourcing scenarios which has taken the whole country for a ride. 4.68% of the GDP is owned by the outsourcing industry, I mean the IT industry, which is amounting to about $36.83 billion. Having heard this, I would say that the whole world is moving into the outsourcing. The business scenarios, the business paradigm, all over the world is totally changing. The way in which I used to manufacture, the way in which I used to distribute, I used to manage the supply chain, all things are changing actually. I need not own a company of my own and produce everything there and have a marketing department and distribute it all over the world. I can collect things we call virtual organizations. So to that level things are moving. In this paradigm, the outsourcing has come to India and paved the way for a dramatic change in the Indian scenario. And the economy and the boom what we are seeing today, a major contributor is the outsourcing concept. So when we want to manufacture, distribute and make use of the technology, what is manufacturing? Ultimately, it brings the technology in, designs the technology in, make products, sell it out and create money, or I would say create wealth and distribute back to the society if it is possible the best way. Okay, so this is the thing. Earlier days, large units resorted to local outsourcing. I want to bring you to the point. So there were companies, okay, Martin Marriott, Northrop, or any Grumman, or Boeing, or any people. They had a little bit of outsourcing, or people say subcontracting level. So their belief was that what I need, they could finish and give me according to absolute specification, absolutely controlled by me. Next slide. And you know, so many nations, actually during the last 20-30 years, the world was continuously, in every decade it was changing. And many nations made rapid strides in their growth, and which has brought them up in science and technology. And of course, the countries like the BRIC countries we call should be read from, I would say, right and left rather than calling Brazil first. But it's easy to call, we call it Brazil, Russia, India, China. So the BRIC countries, especially India and China, they were mainly outgoing in the science and technology, and the major manufacturers, which will be including about 1,000 billion or 1,500 billion operations, they were finding that it's easy to outsource things to these countries and then go ahead with their activities at a lower cost. The whole world was towards actually reducing the cost of production. reducing the cost of production and keep scaling up and scaling down the cost. So the company can expand and the company can contract depending on the demand of the product in the market. But if I am scaling up only for a transient market, then it's a cost on me. So there are a lot of business fits in that. But it would be worthwhile that the whole world is moving towards what we are doing. The whole world is moving towards the outsourcing culture. So in that culture only our outsourcing industry today is surviving. And the point here is our aerospace industry can never be an exception to the world trend. Pick it up. Next one. And what are the aerospace domains? I know you are all working in aerospace for many years, many tens of years. I have my colleagues here. The commercial aircraft, military aircraft, specialized vehicles and satellites and ground systems. So these are the main arena or the area in which the whole operations are going in the industry. Mainly the commercial military aircraft, they carry out the major bulk of the management operations. And specialized vehicles in the domain of missiles and so many things. And then the satellite factories there which is associated with the space. And the ground systems controlling all over the world, the ground systems are distributed so that the commercial traffic and the space traffic all could be managed with a large scale support of the computing infrastructure and sophisticated application software. Go to the next. Okay, how big is the market and the business? When we want to talk about outsourcing, we must know what is available for us. Okay, so USA is the main country. Of course, there is a part in Europe also I will be showing. But to have a view of the thing, let's look at it. It dealt with a revenue of about 175 billion in 2005 and it went into about 190 billion. Out of that, you must notice that the rate growth where we are interested in, things are progressing in the world because of the globalization, because of the overall development in the economy taking place in the developing countries and the developed countries, a transformation is taking place. In India, you are witnessing anything good. So the profit margin was about 11 billion, and here about 15 billion growth is expected this year itself. Next slide. And what is the reason for all this? The reason is that climbing sales of the aircraft. You have heard that we have placed $10 billion from India itself, and money is ordering by from his pocket. So the world is changing. Come to that point. The world is changing. An enormous potential for doing business with your aerospace capabilities. Come on, let's look into that. And growing defense expenditure. Well, if you are interested, you can get into that, but it's a narrow field with the higher amount of work. Commercial aircraft travel and civil aircraft and transportation aircraft. Transportation is going to switch off. What is happening in this driving parameters are mainly the globalization which is taking place. 30%, even 20 to 30% of the economy of the developed countries and developing countries will start exchanging freely at the upper surface. This is our prediction. So in that scale, what happens is large scale transportation is also going to take place. So year upon year, increase of the requirement will be about 8 to 15% one upon the other year actually. Year upon year growth is expected. Next one. So the major manufacturing base, as everybody knows, till now, the developing countries or developed countries, other than the European parts and the USA, they were not into the strong market of the aircraft manufacturing and distribution. Especially the US scenario is on an intelligent drive to reduce cost. The major drive is to reduce the cost and increase the revenue. The revenue per person, I want it in a particular scale. Then only my profit will increase. I have the capability and equal office standards available in different countries. I want to distribute it there, make money out of it, integrate it and sell it quickly. So the aerospace market has become highly competitive cost and performance metrics. You know, today I am not interested in traveling in 747 or even the Airbus latest things. I should not brand it here, of course. So I want, when I get into my aircraft, I want to see that there is no change in my facilities from the ground to the air. My bandwidth requirement may be about 1 megabit per second, and I would like to have 2 megabit per second while I am traveling in my aircraft. I don't want the heavy stopovers here and there. I don't want maintenance time coming in between. My wish and my thinking is different. So I'll talk about it later. In 2005, aircraft sales alone was about 39 billion. That's purely a narrow sector out of the $190 billion actually, where the traveling part alone, the military developed about $50 billion. Go to the next slide. But we are more interested in the $175 billion. The outsourcing part will be the part of the growth because the industry is like that. So, as the revenues are growing up, a good opportunity to outsource about $10 to $15 billion is emerging. And which is that area? We will let us try to catch it. And the scenarios are not clear how much will be offshore because the policies are business process and the aligned IT process towards it. And the various process of the industrial things, it is under scrutiny and study. Though Boeing has made a big step earlier by giving the future. Made in one factory. It is made in 5 countries. Okay? So, the aerospace, the complex manufacturing process, complex design, testing and evaluation, complex integration process. These are the main area when we look into. It's a heavy study required behind it. What will inform you? So, where do we go into the outsourcing? Next one. The intricate requirement analysis and design, also the testing and evaluation phase, currently demands multidisciplinary knowledge base and excellent IT skills are required. I don't want to make an aeroplane without the heavy use of computers. 40% of my whole operation should be controlled with autonomous systems related to IT. So that's a big point what I want to bring. I don't want to continue with the planes what I have today up to 2040. I should have new generation planes which takes off with less noise and flies smoothly and offering me 5-star accommodation. And my bandwidth per seat should be very high, so I will have anything I want to enjoy. Go to the next one. And this shows that mechanical engineering, aerodynamics, manufacturing systems, and electrical and electronic systems in manufacturing, onboard and ground computer systems and application software, the manufacturing part. And every part has got a large amount. If you see here, this is about 35%. Design work here, special design work. The whole area here is ready for outsourcing. And these things cannot be outsourced now, these two, but it can come soon. Go to the next. And to tackle the growing amount of work, it's relevant to resort to outsourcing. People have taken the decision already. To start with, design work and the change management work can be outsourced. Go to the next. And what are the enablers actually? The global demand is driven by the economic transformation in developing countries, which I told. Demand for replenishment and industry is supported by production centers which were realized 10 to 15 years ago. This is the crucial point. I am the company XYZ and my plant was established 15 years back. I replenished this, upgraded it 2 times, 7 years. Today the demand is so much different. I cannot simply be through that. I have to establish something else where I can get it at a lower cost. Demand for ramp of the machinery and human resources on one side. I cannot call 10,000 people and then make a new one. Result is deadline override. These are the behind stories of the companies. Deadline override, delayed deliveries, revenue troubles. A solution to this mounting problem. Look to the other industry and learn. There are all the industries, you know, the consumer electronics industry, the machinery, the microelectronics, all are getting outsourced 30 to 35% today. Next one. The new business model, such a challenge can be met through successful outsourcing patterns. And of course, I have told, outsourcing, lower cost with lesser time and management quality. Autonomous navigation and control systems with fatigue controlled airframes, having high glide, fuel saving aero models, offering 5-star consumer comfort with excellent safety features, high bandwidth per seat, offerable up to 2040. Who is the company or which is the company capable of offering today? These things cannot be easily met. I don't want bulky Rajhamsas which is wasting my fuel. There are techniques by which I can fly much higher distance with the same amount of fuel. Please come up with that. Next one. The pressures on the aerospace industry and the story for the contrast is calculated will be yellow. Okay, there are various factors I have told it is there, and the backlogs, design, verification, change management and production. Okay, these things are being affected and these are the net result. Revenue loss, depreciated ambience, and so many things are there. Okay, the effect in the industry is down. It's not able to pick up. And the conventional engineering enterprises fade away. We don't believe in the old systems actually. Large scale, about 300 acres of land and then everything is inside, it's all fading away. And the business process is completely distributed. They don't need pricing demands effectively. What to outsource, what competency process not to be outsourced, what to outsource. And process that where lower risk and higher manageability can be selected for giving to the other countries and manage it there. Process which are time consuming, generating scalability issues and requires multiple knowledge integrations can go to the country which has got expertise. Next one. Outsourcing suitability. This diagram shows this is the core competency which I may not give outside. General process and management risk, time to market demand. These are the drivers which will govern the balance in the process. Next one. So the Indian scenario. India is rightly positioned with a matured software industry. We have this year we will be logging about $48 billion. Excellent industrial base and know-how base exists as far as the computer engineering and application software is concerned. Next one. And enough human resource potential exists in the domain scientific for all this good work. Good embedded system engineering, better business positioning and process reorientation may be required to meet the outsourcing conditions of the aerospace. This is the key. We require, our engineers, our managers require a repositioning by which they are getting ready to support this. $50 billion by 2015. If you are giving 10 billion to US, why don't you take 50 billion back from there? So this is the question. Are you able to do that? Conclusion. The worldwide aerospace industry is to undergo business transformation. It is going. Sorry, because it was prepared a little late. Globalization in design, production and maintenance. There are more heights for the Indian professionals that want to go in this respect, not only in software. Next one. Okay. What I mean is that the Indian software industry, which is excellent today, it should be from a software factory. I would like to see that it's becoming a application engineering factory in the outsourcing. This is the message. If it is capable of doing, you have enough money in reserve. Next one, please. What's more interest? That's it. Thank you very much. I feel you got a picture of what could happen and what can make you earn $10 to $15 billion in the coming 1 or 2, 3, 4 years and $50 billion by 2050 and probably few aircraft of hundreds going away, flying away from India by doing integration in India. This is the vision.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
We will entertain 1 or 2 questions in this general area. Let us put the questions fast and let it.
Hardware outsourcing to India?
Yes, it's possible. The first thing will be in the design part of
What is the scenario now? That everything is done with
HL has got collaborations with it, and of course HL has got collaborations with Boeing. It's mainly the computer side and the lower layer systems.
Airbus they have
Airbus has got
all the roads are being made in India.
Yeah. So there are steps coming up, but large scale fuselage onwards to airframes to things are very possible. We don't want to come to the names and events. HCL is there, HCL has got connections, but manufacturing level, the money end is not to the scale what they can. HCL is of course a government company.
I add just one point. With consortium approach coming in now, there is no go other than this particular outsourcing.
Outsourcing is
We are going to get.
Outsourcing is the way of that.
Yeah, we are going to get.
Boeing is set up in Nagpur, some facility.
Yeah, that is because we go through the company reports and company psychology. It is not a full outsourcing aspect.
Airbus also will do
In
that.
Nashik they are already.
Their psychology is to develop that they are doing something in the country in which they are doing maximum psychology. Their mark, major chunk to come here and then manufacture it.
Thank you. There is another indication that China is going to take commercial aircraft.
Big way.
That is indeed using it if we not partner because they can do things very
I
well.
think that we
And then Sri Lanka, potential